Hello, and welcome back to the App Inventor Tour Guide tutorial. This is the final part, Part 4, where we'll be setting up the forwards and back buttons and allowing you to save multiple photos. To start, make sure that you're in the Gallery screen and in the Designer section. If you remember last time, we mentioned that we'd be going through the previous button and the next button later. Well, now's the time. Go ahead and click on the properties of the button and set Visible to be true. Now you can see that they show up on the screen. Now let's go to blocks. So instead of just having a single picture be taken, we went a whole list of photos, and whenever you take a picture, you add it to that list. To initialize the list, let's set up variables. Let's call this list photo list. Right now we don't have anything in the list, so let's create an empty list by going to lists and picking the first option. We're also going to create an extra variable called current index. This will tell us what index we're at in the list, which means which position we are at. Go to initialize, current index, and we're going to set that to 0. All right, so now when you take the photo and we've gotten to the after picture, we want to add the image to the photo list. So we can do add items to list right here. The list that we want to add it to is the photo list. So you can go to variables and do get photo list. The item that we want to add to the list is the image, the photo that we just took. So hover over and you can do get image. There. Now we've added the image to the photo list. Now you might see that we also need to change this. We don't just want to save the photo, we want to save the whole list. So first, let's change the tag. We'll set the tag to photo list as well. And the value that we want to store is not just the image, but the full list. So we can do get photo list. We're also now going to set the current index to be equal to the length of the list. Remember, App Inventor starts indexing at 1, so the length of the list index is going to be the last element in the list. We want this so that it shows the latest photo that was taken. Let's go to variables, and we'll set our current index to be equal to the length of the list. We have a length of list option here, and the list that we want the length of, well, it's photo list. Let's change the initialize block here. First of all, let's pull this up. When we first initialize the screen, we're going to want to set the current index to be 0. This is because we don't know what the index is yet. All right, now we need to set the photo list. And the photo list is either going to be an empty list, or if it can get it, it's going to be the contents of the photo list tag that we stored in TinyDB. We can do this all in one big block. We'll set our photo list to be tinydb.getValue. The tag is now photo list. Which is what we set it to be right here. And now the value, if the tag is not there, is going to be an empty list. That way, if it's the first time that we've ever opened it, then there's nothing at all. but the list is still set up. Now, we need to drag in an if-then block. This is because if the list is not empty, then we can start changing the global current index. If it is empty, we can't do any of that, so we need to check first. Go to Control and pull out an if-then block. How do we check if it's not empty? Well, list has a check for if it is empty, and logic has a not block. So if not empty. And what do we check if it's not empty? We check the photo list. Get photo list. All right. Well, if it's not empty, then let's just point to the first photo, which is index 1. So we can set the current index to be 1. We can set image.picture and the list that we want to get from is of course going to be our photo list. And the index is the one we just set, which is the current index. And next is to set up the previous and next buttons. When you press those buttons, you want to be able to scroll through your list of images. So let's do previous first. You can do when previous button dot click. Well, when can the previous button work? It works as long as you're not at the first element in the list. If you're at the first one, you can't go back anymore. So we need to check that with another if statement. So if you're not at the front of the list, you can do that by checking the index and seeing if the index is greater than 1. If your index is greater than 1, then you're not at the front of the list and you're fine to go back. To get a comparator, we can go here into Math and change this to greater than. So if your current index is greater than 1, then great, you can go back. To go back, we need to change the current index and decrease it by 1 since we're going back. So we'll set the current index to be what it was before, but minus 1. So we're going to set current index to be current index but minus 1. There we go. And now we need to actually show the image. And this is the same as we've done before. We set the image's picture to be the element of the list at this new current index. So we can just copy this. There we go. Now, can you think of how to do it for the next button? It's very similar. Go ahead and try and take some time to figure it out, and come back when you're ready. Feel free to pause the video. All right, to check yourself, here's the next button.click block. You can see that it's very similar to the previous button block. The only difference is that it has a different condition. Here it checks if you're not at the end of the list. Remember, the end of the list is equal to the length of the list, which you can get very easily. If you're not at the end, you can still go on to the next photo. And instead of decreasing the index, it increases the index since you're going forward onto the next. It still sets the picture in the same way. The final button that we need to set up is the back button. Now we can do the back button the same way that we did the back button for the location screen. Because screens open up on top of each other, you can do when the back button is clicked, all you need to do is close this current screen. There you go. This concludes all of the blocks that you need to do to set up the full tour guide app. Congratulations! Go ahead and test it out and make sure that it works. At this point, there are still plenty of expansions that you can add to this app. Feel free to add more markers to your maps. In addition, you could also add an option for the user to capture video footage of these landmarks and add those to the gallery. Finally, you could also add an easy button that allows people to share the photos that they took with other people. All right, this is your completed tour guide app. Congrats again. If you long click on the button, it'll bring you directly to the location screen with the title, description, and image. Then you can go to Gallery. As you can see, I've already added some pictures, and since we're at the first picture, we can't go back, but we can go forwards to the next one and to the final one. Then we can't go forwards again since we're at the last image. Now let's add a picture. By pressing Take Picture, it brings us to the photo screen. We take a beautiful picture, press OK, and here it is, added to the gallery. And here you can see it added to the gallery. Again, it's the last one in the gallery, so you can't press Next, but you can go back and see all the other images. Then, back to location will bring you right back to where you were. And you can do this for all of the locations. Feel free to add the extensions that I mentioned or anything else that you might think up, and good luck!